first thing I want to do again, I know I had said something quickly in my press conference on Saturday evening, but just tell Bison Nation how much we appreciated the thousands of people that had made the trek down to Arizona. It was our players appreciated it. I appreciated it. I know anyone associated with this program could not be more excited about the volume, the excitement that those people brought to that game. It was a great college football game, and unfortunately, we just didn't make a few plays at the right time during the contest. One more stop, maybe another first down or two, and it might have been enough to get us over the hump. But we learned a lot. Our kids were, like I said, very frustrated, but nobody's disappointed. I'm not disappointed in any one of our coaches or our players because the effort, the preparation was outstanding last week. Now the challenge is to take that same mentality and to put it now to this week, and that's always when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. That always is the challenge. You hope the maturity and some of the veteran leadership on our football team come out this week. Like I said, I was really impressed with the execution, the effort that our kids played with. I don't think there was ever a feeling on our sideline that we weren't going to win that football game. And that was as excited and as an enthused group of young men that I've been around for a while on that sideline on Saturday night. So that's the thing that I'm going to challenge with them here in about an hour and a half when I have our team meeting is how do we take that excitement, how do we take that energy and make it contagious and so we have it every weekend, regardless of being a home game or on the road. Offense was supportive of defense, defensive offense. Everyone knew special teams was going to play a critical role in the game. And so a lot of positives. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win, and we're going to move on, and we got to find a way to go 1-0 this week. With that, I'll open it up for your guys' questions. I don't think you ever want to get a loss. I'd rather find a way to win being undefeated at this time. The thing we cannot allow to happen is that this loss turns into a second one because we're not prepared. We're not putting the amount of energy into the next opponent as we did the previous one.
Think up even more heading into Valley play? Did you guys kind of turn on an extra switch when it gets ready for conference play?
Well, I think our kids, we talked about it immediately following the game, and that there was no time for feeling sorry for ourselves or excuse making. The one thing I think this football team has never done, and I don't think ever will, is finger point. We're going to go back and do what we do best, and that's work.
You guys got home, I think, 7 a.m.? That's pretty rare for this program. Is that a schedule that's hard to deal with right now?
Not really. I think our kids probably going to handle it pretty well. Again, I'm knock on wood, they're 18 to 22-year-olds. I think being up late is probably something that they're a little bit more used to than the people in this room right now. And but we did adjust some scheduling on Sunday, training room, some things like that. But you'd be amazed at the volume of kids that were walking through the football facility yesterday. I mean, they were back at it. They knew that there was one that they shoulda, coulda, woulda. Unfortunately, we didn't. But I think they're excited, and I think our veterans are excited to get back. If we could, we'd play tomorrow.
Go right to work then? Did you guys go right to the dome, or what time?
No, I let them go home for a little while, and everyone was back at 3:00.
31 points against on defense. What did you see that you guys didn't do well after getting a chance to watch it on film? 31, obviously not the standard of what you guys normally do defensively.
No, it's not. Well, you can go back probably and count on maybe two hands the number of times we've given up over 24 points. And so, it came down to some third down stops. There was that series probably early in this, maybe the second series of the third quarter where we thought we had a stop. There was a face mask penalty. 3rd and 13, we couldn't get off the field. That would be the number one thing that I think just didn't play as well as we needed to on money down. Situational football. Still, there was opportunities to win the football game regardless. But we need to be better on third down. I thought our tackling was improved from the week before, but there were always moments. But I bet both teams right now are saying they should have tackled better. I mean, when you have talented kids out there, you're going to have some people break some tackles.
It was definitely the biggest challenge you guys faced so far this year. Are there any areas of improvement that you kind of took away from that game?
Well, just the things from the game in particular. We already talked a little bit about third down. Communication, I thought there were some breaks in communication at different times. Offensively, just from the sideline to the field, from the field to our players, you saw a couple false starts. I'm not necessarily sure those were based on noise, but more on just some cadence issues that we might have had during the course of the game. And those are things we can rectify. Those are things that we need to correct because those are what I consider intolerable penalties. Those negative plays, really change a coordinator's thought process when it's 1st and 15 versus 1st and 10. And just, making sure that we're sound in what we're doing. I think we went into this game with a little less defense, and I thought you saw a faster version of what we were doing. So there were some positives during the course. But I think communication, situational football, can't turn the ball over in the red zone. Had it on the 5-yard line, came away with 0. It's tough to win games, and it's tough to win any game, and you can't make mistakes at critical times.
Just hit roughly the 9-month mark on Cole Wozniski's injury. Do you have any update on him as far as moving into the conference season? And
Are you asking my medical opinion? From what I see, I don't know why he's not practicing. So, wink, wink. But he's moving around. He's flying around at practice. I give our medical staff the business every day because I see him running back and forth, doing all these drills, and I'm wondering when can I start at least putting shoulder pads and a helmet on. So I'm hoping soon.
Where does he fit in? I mean, where does?
Well, I think just adding depth to the linebacker room would be critical. He's a big, long kid. He could play Will. He can play Sam. He's played really for 2 years now. You go back to the spring of 21 and then the fall of 21. He's got a number of reps under his belt. So he might end up being a little bit of a Swiss Army knife for us because he's gotten to that point. He's played enough football, and he's really, I don't have to say this. We all know, having won the Elite 90, he's unbelievably sharp as well.
James Kaiser led you in tackles on Saturday. Do you feel he's almost back to that level pre-injury when that seemed to slow him down the last
week? Well, I think I've said that last couple of weeks that I think he's right there where, was it going into the maybe the fall of 21? He was on some different watch lists and things like that, and unfortunately that growing kind of got the better of him, and he was kind of sporadic or hit and miss from a participation standpoint last fall. But I do think that he's playing at a high level. He's a senior who has, as everyone knows, had a huge accolade today, with the All-State Good Works team. Less than 1% of all college football, 22 players in the country at 80,000. So you talk about a guy who's really starting to hit his own and play at a high level, but also doing it off the field as well, modeling what it looks like to be a great Bison.
Looking at the tape further on the young guys on the defensive line, Heisman, Dutenheffer, what did you see out of their first real test like that?
The effort was there. Are there some things that they need to improve on? I think it was a reality check for them. They probably got tired of Coach Gazer, Coach Entz, Coach Braun, always talking about pad level. And sometimes it takes just getting punched in the mouth a little bit to realize that that wasn't coach's talk. That was real. And so I anticipate we'll see not that they played poorly, but there was just moments when they looked like freshmen out there. But at the same time, you got to think, what type of development does this provide? Now they know what it takes to play at a high level and what's required of them every snap.
One sack against Arizona, was that a result of not getting enough pressure, or was that a result of him just being that evasive?
Well, he was pretty evasive, so I think it's a little bit of both. We didn't get pressure. Probably the majority of our missed tackles were in the backfield at different times. I think we had our hands on him a couple times and couldn't find a way to get him down. We talked about it a week ago. Watching him in the Mississippi State game, very elusive, extended plays. He got the ball out of his hands quick. I thought I was very complimentary of him. I'm still very complimentary of him. He did a great job.
As good of a performance that a quarterback has had against you off the top? He was pretty good. He didn't make any mistakes.
I don't know if I'd say that. There's been some other pretty good performances, especially a couple in the Dome that I remember. Nightmares, maybe.
In USD now that Coach Nielsen's calling the plays.
The sample size, Jeff, is so small right now that I don't know if I could. I don't know if I watched enough film. I haven't really watched the Cal Poly game just straight through. It did look like maybe they were using a little bit more of the play clock. and maybe that's the head ball coach just trying to protect his defense a little bit more. But I think that they're a very well coached football team. Everyone in here knows my history with Coach Nielsen, and so I know they're going to be prepared. I think you can see they've had the same D coordinator now for a couple, 2-3 years. You can see some consistency on that side of the ball. Big quarters, under, over, kind of front, do bring a little bit of pressure at times. And I think they have some talented kids on offense. Both their backs were really impressive. If you watch the Cal Poly game, explosive play after explosive play, quarterback had a 75-yard scramble, I think the first third down of the game. So those things will get our kids' attention immediately today as we dive into South Dakota.
Got 3 games of tape that you've seen and you're moving into a conference situation. You still comfortable with the kind of rotations at Mike and Sam, or are you ever going to get to a point where you want to pick a guy? I mean, how?
Well, I would love to get to a point where we could pick a guy. Somebody needs to give me a reason to pick a guy.
Beat up at the end of the last season. How different is he? USD's quarterback. He was playing with basically with one arm when you guys played him at the Dome last year.
Yep.
How different does he look here in the first 3 games?
Well, he looks relatively comfortable. I mean, he's started, 17, 18, maybe pushing 20 games right now. So it's not as if he's just a new signal caller coming into a league play. He's played a lot of snaps, played in big crowd. I mean, they were down at Kansas State, first game of the year. So they've dealt with some noise. They've dealt with some unique, playing an FBS team. And like I said, I think they're well coached. I think Teddy Schlafke, their quarterback coach, does an outstanding job. And he seems to have he's in control of himself. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes out there, and that'll be the challenge on Saturday.
In history, it seems you've had your 3 non-conference game bye and then conference. And now you kind of almost have more of a mid-season bye. Would you prefer to have the break before the conference season starts, or do you like having that bye kind of mid-season, where maybe you're
If it were probably right after non-conference would be great, just because it does give you a chance to kind of reevaluate. But it's easier said than done with the way scheduling is, finding games. We don't necessarily always have that convenience.
Allen's fit in your offensive line these days? Is he
Who's that say again?
Sundell? Where is he fitting in your offensive line? I haven't really noticed. Is he strictly center? Is he played?
He has been just center so far this year. We've really, I think on Saturday you only saw about 6 offensive linemen play for us consistently, our 5 starters, and then you might have saw a new number out there, number 98, who was Gray. Zabel played for us almost a number of snaps at the ogre position that it's kind of been called.
Perception of what Sundell's career has meant to you guys in the program?
Very talented. He's going to 3rd-year starter. Still has another year of eligibility out there, and so I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I still wasn't recruiting him. His leadership continues to grow. His value, because he can play tackle, he can play center. He's helped Westy continue to develop at the center position. When he was banged up a year ago, he was critical in Westy's development, and so. But that's what you expect when you have a 5th-year senior like that. You want him to be able to embrace the program and to help others, be other set of eyes on the field.
Anybody committed to another year that you know of?
We've had a few conversations. I probably won't have any of those conversations till much later in the season.
Didn't come here as a center, did he? Didn't he come here as a guard?
Either a guard or a tackle. This was learned. This was something that he had to get adjusted to. We have played him back at offensive tackle. He's gotten some reps at guard. His athleticism provides his ability to do some things at different spots that maybe you're not accustomed to. A lot of guys get kind of pigeonholed into the position, but he's one of those athletically. He moves his feet. He's long enough that he can play tackle at times.
Situation next year where, of course, we're getting kind of into the weeds, but where he and Westy being 2 of your best 5, maybe he gets a spot or a shot at a different position. Is that part of your conversation?
We'd have to. I haven't really put that much thought into it. I'm going to write that down when I walk out.
His movement at center, is it a prerequisite to have an athletic center? It seems your last few centers have been really good at getting out and pulling. Is that part of what you need at that spot with your offense?
I don't know if I'd say it's what we need. It's what we want. We do a lot of pin pull. We're a big gap scheme team. If we're able to, and when we can pull the center, I do think it does create some fit challenges for defenses. And so when we are able to run some of our G stuff and get our center out in front, I think it's advantageous for us from an offensive standpoint. I think you go back to last year, we had a lot of success with getting him out on the perimeter.
Dialing back a little bit, it seemed like on Saturday, Lipke was being used as the feature back in the backfield. Could we see more of that down the road?
You'll have to wait and see. But he's pretty good, pretty talented kid, and can catch the football as well. But we also have a extremely talented running back room. I thought you saw glimpses of a number of players. Dom Ganella, Tamarick, Kobe Johnson all had explosive plays. We had 15 explosive plays on Saturday. And so, we just need to find ways to continue to get the football to our playmakers. Even, got a reverse in twice. I mean, how often do you see reverse twice in a game and it works twice? I mean, I thought it was blocked up really well on the perimeter, and Braylon Henderson's an extremely talented young man.
Tamarick's kind of back to 100% Tamarick. It seemed like he ran
Getting
about,
close. Yeah, I think if not really close right now. He's done a really good job of, and our medical staff has helped him of finding a way that he can manage this and continue to practice, because he is someone that needs the reps daily. He's still only a year in our program. He's not a fifth-year guy like Hunter Lipke. He still needs to see the protection piece of it all is what's the most critical thing to me.